Welcome to a bad recap of Fight Club. Wait a second, I can't talk about this one. I should probably spin the wheel to find a new movie. Well, that seems scripted. Welcome to a bad recap of The Truman Show, a movie about the Truman Show. Well, that seems lazy. Truman Burbank was an unwanted pregnancy, just like me, who was adopted by a corporation and turned into the unsuspecting star of a 24/7 TV show documenting his life. He lives in a giant soundstage, 10 miles in diameter, filled with 5,000 cameras, and populated by an entire cast who work day and night to keep the illusion going. Every moment of his life, from his birth to his first steps, to what I'm assuming was a very awkward few years as a teenager, all of it was broadcast live to billions of viewers worldwide. So next time you feel paranoid about being watched, just remember,
you're right, I'm in your walls.
Anyway, one morning Truman is heading to work when a UFO crashes right next to him. A UFO, of course, standing for Unidentified Falling Object. It appears to be a studio light used to mimic a star in the night sky. Yes, I'm being serious. And so is the light. Truman's car radio explains it away as just an incident with a plane overhead, so he continues his day in his fictional world completely oblivious. He gets pulled aside by a pair of twins who small talk while positioning him right next to a billboard. Oh, such egregious advertisements. Have these producers no shame? There would have been an ad break here, but my videos keep getting copyright claimed. Truman is an insurance salesman, which I'm sure is very exciting for the viewers. Today his boss tells him to cross the bay and close a deal, but upon reaching the dock he freezes in fear, staring at a sunken ship. Okay, a sunken boat. He turns around and abandons his job, something I wish I could do, but my boss won't let me. I hate being self-employed. Okay, so far this episode of The Truman Show has been very boring. I have no idea why it has billions of fans. Oh, I retract my statement. Later that night, Truman is hanging out with his best friend Marlin, or the actor who is paid to be his best friend Marlin. Truman tells him how much he wants to leave his town and travel to Fiji. Could have picked somewhere nicer, like Slough, but Marlin laughs at him for having such a ridiculous dream. After that, Truman heads to the beach alone, where the producers play some Family Guy cutaways to explain why he's afraid of water, a sort of bad recap of his past. As a child, Truman had the desire to explore the world, which was very bad for the show. You know, if they just let him wander free, he may accidentally discover France. This would make Truman depressed and ruin the program. So the actor who played Truman's dad was written off the show by drowning him in front of his son, cementing in Truman a fear of the ocean, or thalassophobia. I actually gave myself thalassophobia, but not by drowning my dad. He wasn't up for it. Nope, I just played Subnautica once. Truman returns home and pitches the idea of traveling the world to his wife, but she turns down the idea because they have to pay their taxes and mortgage and car payments, but I'm pretty sure all those things are optional. I mean, I certainly haven't been paying them. She instead suggests they have a baby and takes Truman to their bedroom to, I don't know, order one online. I have no idea where babies come from. In fact, let me just, They do what? Okay, so Truman's wife is doing the sex with a coworker and being paid for it. Oh, just wait until the police hear about this. One day, Truman is going about his morning routine when he bumps into a man who looks just like his dad, but before they have a chance to talk, he gets carried away by two background actors. Nothing weird going on here. Why are you being suspicious, Truman?
Hey! Stop the blood!
Truman is left in the middle of the road, wondering what on earth he just witnessed, and
what the dog doing?
He goes to see his mother to make sense of what he just saw. I guess that when you're the main character, going to work is optional. She explains it away as just some illusion and tells him that she also sees her late husband from time to time, like, oh, don't worry son, I too am schizophrenic. Later in his basement, Truman goes through a memory box to look at pictures of his father. Okay, he looks completely different. How do you recognize him? He also picks up a red jumper that triggers a flashback about the girl who it belonged to. She was meant to be just a background actor, but caught Truman's eye while they're at school together. This led to the producers working hard to keep them separated, allowing Truman to fall in love with his intended state-mandated wife. Seems like a lot of effort for an extra. They could have just fired her, or had her hit by a car to make Truman scared of driving. Eventually, he manages to talk to her before the producers can intervene, and they make their way to the beach where she whistleblows on the entire operation. She tells Truman everything about how his life is fake before someone claiming to be her dad arrives and takes her away, telling Truman she's caught some seasonal schizophrenia, so he's taking her far, far away to Fiji, which explains why Truman wants to go there so bad. It doesn't explain why he wants to take his wife with him though. Also, Fiji? Really? Is that the best they could come up with? They could have picked somewhere fake like Narnia or the Netherlands, or even somewhere really difficult to reach like the moon. They could borrow the set from the US government. But yeah, Truman watches as the girl of his dreams that he only spoke to once is driven away and never seen again. Oh, is that her watching the show in the present day? I thought they would have killed her. The next day, Truman's car radio accidentally taps into the production walkie-talkies and he hears a precise description of his current location. This freaks him out and he starts to take notice of all the weird things going on around him and how his town seems to revolve around his life. He tries to catch whoever is watching him off guard by quickly entering a random building, where behind a lift he sees an active snack station that is quickly concealed. This cements his paranoia, so visits Marlon, who tries to ease his mind, and they both end up skipping work to drink beer. Oh, this could be us, but you're not unemployed. That evening, Truman is looking through a photo album when he notices his wife's fingers were crossed during their wedding, indicating she was lying about marrying him. Because of this, the next morning he follows her to work at the hospital, and wow, that is quite an extensive set. Perhaps they were planning a crossover?
Do you have hair in your special place?
He watches some very confused actors pretend to begin surgery, but he has no idea they're faking. I mean, who would? No one knows how hospitals work, they're magic. He then decides to leave everything behind and finally go to Fiji. He first goes to a travel agency which is filled with posters to discourage him, and wow, a plane getting struck by lightning, oh shiver me timbers. Why didn't they just fake 9/11 like the real life CIA did? The lady can't get him a flight to Fiji.
Computer says 9.
So instead he boards a bus to Chicago just to get out of town. On the bus is a little child actor who nearly blows the entire operation by pointing at Truman like a zoo exhibit. God, I hate child actors. Actually, no, I just hate children. The bus breaks down before the journey even begins, leaving Truman with even more skepticism. He returns home and with his wife sets off in his car to try and leave town. He drives erratically to hopefully confuse whoever is watching him, calling out random destinations while on a roundabout.
What about Atlantic City?
Oh no, you hate to gamble.
What? No, dude!
Eventually they make it to a bridge at the edge of town, but Truman is too scared to drive across because of the water. Oh, that's a shame. I guess his road trip is going to end sooner than expected. They'll have to turn around and drive home. Wait, is that Freebird? They make it across the bridge, but a sudden forest fire sweeps across the road. Oh, look at that fire. Truman's gonna have to lift here. He doesn't seem to be lifting. After the fire is ignored, the producers create a nuclear meltdown to block off the roads and trap Truman. This time he seems to believe the natural disaster until a traffic officer addresses him by his name.
You're welcome, Truman.
Why did you say that name?
He gets tackled by a group of extras and taken back home, where he starts to argue with his wife. He claims she's part of the conspiracy and that she doesn't actually love him, but she's just like, hey, that's not true, man. To cheer him up, she does an ad read for some new cocoa drink. This is something that happens often in the show, with cast members sneakily advertising to the viewers right in Truman's face. Just truly despicable and lame.
Have these producers no shame?
Anyway, Truman ends up threatening his wife with a knife and... Oh, sorry guys, my washing machine is going off. And we're back, and I'm now wearing clothes. Anyway, Marlon enters the house with a 6-pack of beer, the perfect remedy for anyone who's about to kill their wife. I mean, it works on me. He takes Truman outside to gaslight him into forgetting his paranoia, with every word he says being fed to him by the show's creator, Christoph. Then, in a plot twist worse than my wife being a lesbian, the producers confirm that somehow Truman's father returned. The entire world celebrates as they embrace, marking what would likely go down as the greatest episode in Truman Show history. I can already imagine the hour-long video essays explaining why this was such a great moment. After that, Christoph is interviewed by a TV man, and they discuss the history of people sneaking onto the show, including a man who airdropped in like a battle royale. But how do you manage this? They're in a dome. Anyway, the interview derails when the girl Truman fell in love with calls in and berates Christoph for manipulating Truman, but he shrugs off the attack and talks about what they're planning next on the show, including the first on-air conception. Christoph, that's just... Billions of people worldwide are going to tune in to watch their childhood hero lay down some mad pipe. That's not weird at all. Truman then seems to go back to his regular old self, not showing any signs of paranoia. Wait, is that a pencil sharpener camera? Oh,
Christoph, you've gone mad with power.
The only different thing he's doing is sleeping in the basement because his wife left him. It's never explicitly stated why she left him, but my theory is that it's because he threatened her with a knife. Leave your theories in the comments below. One night, the production crew is suspicious that he's somehow snuck away from their constant surveillance, so they send over Marlon to check. Oh, I wish I had friends who'd come wake me up at 4 AM with beer. Marlon makes the shocking discovery that Truman has somehow tunneled his way out of his basement and is nowhere to be found. And after nearly 30 years of 24/7 coverage, for the first time ever, the Truman Show is taken offline.
Shut it off, Otto! Shut it off!
They begin an island-wide search for the star of their show, but even with the entire cast on the lookout, nobody can find him. So to aid their search, Christoph decides to trigger the sunrise in the middle of the night. I guess he's completely given up on maintaining the illusion. Eventually they find him, out in the ocean, conquering his fears, sailing towards freedom. You may be asking how he learned how to sail? The producers decide to cook up a terrifying storm to hopefully scare him back to land. They restart transmission and the entire world watches as Truman battles the aquatic forces of nature. Well, technically not nature, but you get it. But the indomitable Truman spirit is too powerful and he fights the storm with everything he has, prepared to die on live TV. Eventually, Christoph ceases the storm, allowing Truman to sail to the end of his world. He collides with the edge of the dome and approaches a staircase leading to an exit. The whole world watches using cameras that just exist, I guess, and Christoph talks to Truman as an echoing voice from the clouds. He tells him of the dangers in the real world and urges him to stay where he can remain safe and continue to be an inspiration to billions. Everyone is glued to their TVs, waiting to see what Truman decides. In the end, he takes a graceful bow and steps out into the darkness, claiming his freedom. And the show ends. Great show. I enjoyed the part where Truman kept day drinking instead of going to his job, and my favourite character was easily Pluto the dog, because it was funny when he tried to eat Truman. The entire world celebrates the ending of their favourite show, but ultimately decides to move on to the next big thing, probably Lego Ninjago.
Wait a minute, I'm still black.
And the movie ends. Great movie. I enjoyed the part where Truman tried to kill his wife, and my favourite character was easily Man in Bathtub, because he seemed to spend his entire life in his bath watching the show. Real. But yeah, if you enjoyed this recap, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss the next one. Thank you ever so much for watching.